Hi guys, and welcome back to the Dollhouse. I'm Maeve, your Wednesday doll, and this week we are talking about our personal styles. Okay, so for my video, I kind of wanted to do something a little bit different. I was going to do a lookbook style type video where I was going to show some of the outfits that I like wearing and things like that, but I kind of wanted to talk about something else a little bit more, and it may not be everybody's preferred thing for me to talk about when it comes to my style maybe, but it's just something I kind of wanted to clear up just because it's something I deal with a lot, not just on this channel, but in everyday life. And I think it's kind of funny. So this thing that I deal with every day is kind of something where people seem to think that I'm goth. Now, I will agree that I do wear dark colors and I have pale skin and I do kind of come across as a person who may be goth. I totally get that, absolutely 100%. And I do not blame people for thinking that. I just think that it's a little small-minded. Now, as somebody who's 27 years old, I think when people tell me, oh, are you goth, or you seem kind of goth, or I really like your goth style, it kind of makes me cringe a little bit just because it seems very juvenile. Goth to me is something that's very heavily stemmed, not, of course not in all cases, but in a lot of cases it was heavily stemmed for me, at least in high school, and it's something that defined a certain group of people that, you know, kind of wore darker clothing, spiked collars, things like that, and these are all things that I love. I love spiked chokers, I love hardware, I love leather, I love vinyl, I love all these things. So I guess in that sense, I am goth in a way, but there's so much more to me and my style, I guess. So I feel like just saying that I'm goth kind of really makes me feel like it's cutting me short a little bit. It's not giving me as much credit as I feel like I deserve for some of the outfits that I come up with. And that can be a little bit frustrating, especially if you put a lot of work into something and people aren't really open to thinking about you beyond a certain thing. It can be a little bit difficult. For example, somebody in my drag family wants me to perform for them at their step down, and that basically is a ceremony where a drag queen who is currently reigning with the title will kind of step down in the sense of like handing on their crown to somebody else. I had mine earlier this year, and she was kind of like, oh, this is the theme, and I'm okay if you can't do the theme because of your style, you know, the way you do things. I want you to be yourself. And I was kind of taken aback because I was just like, do people really think I'm not capable of doing anything that's not dark and kind of scary? Because I definitely am, and I think that part of being a good performer, for me at least, is making sure that I can always surprise people. And I feel like maybe I've been resting too much on my goth laurels, and I've let people, you know, assume for too long that I'm goth. But at the same time, it's kind of one of those things, like I said at the very beginning, that you can't blame people for, because it's just the way that they understand your style. And it's not really their fault that they don't know more. I was heavily into the goth scene when I was younger. I used to go to goth clubs in San Francisco, and I actually love the goth scene. Now, the goth scene can be very, very particular. You know, people can be very snobby, just like in every other sect of social, you know, constructs. There are people in the goth scene who can be very snooty and very snobby about, you know, you're not, you know, fitting in this way to this type of goth, or, oh, and that's the other thing. There's several different types of goth people. You know, there's cyber goth. There is like a goth Lolita look. There are just so many different kinds of goth. It's insane. Like, I can think of probably 8, 9, or 10 different types of dressing goth, or, you know, looking like goth that there are. And even saying that, like, you have to be very careful about speaking about these things because people get offended very easily. But like I said, I really did enjoy that cultural or that subculture, that scene. And it was so much fun for me, but it's just getting older. I guess it's starting to feel a little bit like I feel like I've grown out of it. I feel like I do wear a lot of dark stuff, but I don't feel like it's necessarily goth. When it comes to my style and how I feel I define it, I do feel like there is a certain type of darkness to it, but at the same time, I kind of like a futuristic modern feel to things and a fantasy feel. I'm really into like things that are very strappy and nude illusion, mesh. I'm into, like I said, vinyl before, clear vinyl, lots of just things that are just very space age. That's kind of what my thing is. I have a joke with my friends that I'm an alien because that's the kind of thing I'm really into. I'm into like that kind of far out, just like really modern look. Simplistic. I wear a lot of jewel tones because I guess one of the reasons why I wore so much black early on is because I really didn't know much about how to dress myself. I didn't know what colors would necessarily look good on me. And so after a while, I started to do research. And I found out that pale people, and I am pale naturally, it's not something like I avoid the sun, even though I'm not a big fan of the sun. I just don't want to tan. It doesn't appeal to me. It doesn't, first of all, it's not safe. But for me personally, it's just not something I choose to do. So that's just something that I had to get accustomed to, like dressing for my skin tone. And so now I wear a lot of jewel tones. So, you know, royal purples, emerald, red, like sapphire blues. And I really love color. I think it's so easy, at least for me, as a comfort thing to go back to black. So you'll find a lot of times during the day, I actually end up wearing black just because it's my easy go-to thing. Even the summertime, I'm just like, oh, black. It's just so easy for me. So I guess as much as I try to hold other people responsible for how they label me, I should probably try a little bit harder just to experiment a little bit more. But yeah, that's just something I've been dealing with lately, and it's just kind of like, do I have a right to be mad at people for thinking that I'm goth when I look goth sometimes? I don't really know if that's true or not. And maybe I'm just not being fair. Maybe I just need to educate and explain more, and maybe hopefully, you know, people will start to see over time, because goth has been kind of out for a while. Goth exists, obviously. The subculture's still thriving. It's just, you'll find it more in bigger cities, in concentrated places, like nightclubs and things like that. And I still go to those places and I still love them. But like I said, it's just something where when you get older, you just feel very different about your style. And when you put work into it, you kind of want the credit of it being more complex than just one word. And I think at the end of the day, that's the problem for me, is like, restricting people to one word, like your style is this or that. It's just kind of silly. But either way, that's kind of my relationship with my style and how I feel about it. And yeah, I'm really excited to like expand my wardrobe and start getting a little bit more, I don't know, experimental, I guess. I also like really dressing for your body type. It's important as a trans woman to dress for your body type. I mentioned this before, and I think in a video, but high-waisted things are very flattering because it makes it seem like your torso is shorter. Men obviously have longer torsos than women. And, you know, peplum things, things that are general that are high-waisted, I think look really good on me. But yeah, this is just kind of a little casual back and forth video about my style. I know it's probably not, like I said, what everybody would have wanted, but I was looking at my clothes and I really don't have anything special that I wanted to show right now. But hopefully sometime in the future, maybe I can revisit this topic and do a little bit better job. And I hope you guys like this. Thank you guys so much for your support on our timeline videos. It means everything to us. I worked so hard and I just didn't realize how hard it was to do a timeline video. It's really crazy how hard it is. So I'm glad that you guys enjoyed those. And I will see you guys next week. Bye-bye.